Hello friends, welcome back to our concluding session of metallurgy. In the earlier sessions, we have seen the different processes involved in the extraction of a metal from its ore, then the terms involved in metallurgy like mineral, ore, gangue or matrix, then flux, then slag, all those definitions you have to know. Then we saw the actual extraction of aluminium from bauxite using the Bayer's process, that is the concentration of the ore, and the Hall-Hérold's process for electrolytic reduction of fused alumina. Both these are very important. Some question on this is asked every year. Then we also discussed the commonly existing ores of zinc, aluminium and iron. Again, that is very important. And now the last part of the chapter, that is alloys. So we'll have a look at the alloys and some question answers related to this chapter. Okay, now just have a look. Now you know that alloys are generally, they are homogeneous mixtures. Yes, homogeneous mixtures of two or more substances which either could be metal or a non-metal in varying proportions. It's not fixed proportion, so it is termed as a mixture and not a compound. And all these will have the desirable properties compared to just the metal. Okay, now we'll have a look at the different alloys. Now first, the definition of alloy is important. An alloy is a substance prepared by adding other metals or non-metals to a base metal in appropriate proportions to obtain certain desirable properties. So this is the definition of the alloy. Now it is usually made by melting the components together and then solidifying the mixture. So the components have to be miscible. Miscible, you understand, means they will mix with each other. You cannot identify the two components separately. They have to be miscible in liquid state and not separate on solidification. Okay, now this is important. Amalgam is an alloy in which the base metal is mercury, means mercury along with other metal. That is called as an amalgam, and this is just an alloy. Okay, so example of amalgam is zinc amalgam, which is used in voltaic cells. Now we'll have a look at the different alloys. Now the ones which I have marked here in 5 stars are very important. So questions based on them will be asked in the boards also, and the others are not that important, but they are mentioned in the textbook. So in your school exams etc., your teacher can ask, but in the boards they will ask you only the ones which are in orange here. Okay, so first we'll see copper and zinc alloys. So the alloy is brass and composition is copper and zinc. Copper is 60 to 80%, zinc is 40 to 20%. Now these percentages you don't have to remember. Yes, I have written it, but you just have to remember the composition in the sense that it is made up of copper and zinc. Nobody is going to ask you the percentage. Property you should know, because many times match the columns are asked. So name of the alloy, along with that either property or use. So it is hard, lustrous, malleable and ductile. I hope you remember what is malleability and ductility. Yes, very good. Malleability is the property by virtue of which the metal can be beaten into thin sheets. Yes, and ductility is the property by virtue of which metal can be drawn into thin wires. Yes, very good. Okay, then uses, electrical fittings and decorative articles. So this is the first alloy, that is brass. Then next is bronze. Copper is 80%, tin 19% and zinc is 1%. SN stands for the Latin name of tin, that is stannum. Okay, we have done this in 9th standard. And hard takes up polish, statues, medals and coins. Okay, now these three are not so important, but we'll quickly discuss them. German silver containing copper 50%, zinc 30% and nickel 20%. It's hard, silvery and used to make decorative articles. Then gunmetal, copper is 88%, tin 10%, zinc 1% and lead also 1%. Pb stands for the Latin name of lead, that is plumbum. Hard and easily cast, used to make barrels and cannon. Then bell metal is copper and tin, copper 80% and tin is 20%. Brittle, it is more sonorous. Sonorous, you remember, sonorous is the ability of the metal to strike a note. So it strikes a note when you hit it. Yes, so sonorous, then copper or copper or tin alone. Okay, so when you combine copper and tin, it is more sonorous, or it is having a high sonority. Okay, used to make bells and gongs. Okay, now we'll have a look at the next part. Now next we'll have a look at aluminum alloys. Now the first one is duralumin. It is containing aluminum 95%, magnesium 0.5, manganese 0.5 and copper 4%. Now the reason or for adding aluminum and magnesium important, aluminum is imparting lightness and magnesium imparts strength. This is important, you should remember this, used to make aircrafts, light tools and cookers. Then second is magnesium, that's aluminum and magnesium only. Aluminum is 95, magnesium is 5%. Light, tough and corrosion resistant. Again aircrafts and scientific tools. Scientific tools like weighing balances, etc. made from this magnesium. Then third is alnico, that is aluminum, nickel, cobalt and iron. Light, shiny and you make uses is to make magnets. Horseshoe magnets which you use, that is made up of alnico. Okay, so these are two important ones, duralumin and magnesium, the aluminum alloys. Now coming to the lead alloys, lead, solder, fuse metal. Lead is 50% and tin is 50%. Now here function of tin very important. Tin lowers the melting point of the alloy. So melting point of the alloy is 180 degrees Celsius and it is used for electrical fuse and soldering purposes. Okay. Then type metal is lead. Sb stands for what? Yes, very good, antimony. That is the Latin name stibbium, Sb, 20% and tin 5%. Now tin and antimony both will lower the melting point and enhance the castability. Castability means what? The ability to be cast and then to get demolded. Okay, and used to make printing blocks. So these are the lead alloys. In that only solder is very important. Yes, coming to iron alloys. Now in that stainless steel most important. It is made up of iron 75%, chromium is 15%, nickel is 10% and carbon is 0.5. Now the chromium and nickel both are imparting luster to it. So this is important, you should remember, nickel and chromium is imparting luster and carbon imparts hardness to it and it is corrosion resistant. It is used to make surgical instruments, cutlery, utensils, etc. Then you have nickel steel, it is iron 97%, nickel 2% and carbon 1%. It is elastic and nickel imparts a high tensile strength to it. It is used to make cables, aircraft parts, etc. And then tungsten steel, it is iron, W stands for the Latin name wolfram of tungsten and carbon. Again very hard and corrosion resistant, high speed machine parts. Okay, so that completes the alloys. Now we'll have a look at the next part. Now again you should remember that whatever I have marked in this orange 5 stars is very important. Question based on that you can expect. Okay, now next part. Okay, now we'll have a look at these, name the following. Now throughout the chapter in the earlier 2 sessions I have already mentioned all these possible questions which can be asked, but here collectively I have put down all name the following for your benefit. So please note them down. Question 7 is name the following. First, the sulfide ore of zinc. So answer is zinc blende. Then next, the process used for concentrating sulfide ores is froth flotation process. Remember the froth flotation process? Yes, where you are using a mixture of oil and water in a tank and compressed air is being passed. So the ore will get preferentially wetted by the oil, it will form a foam on top and the gangue gets wetted by water, settles down. Okay, in the concentration of the ore we have discussed this. Then third, the most abundant metal in the earth's crust, aluminium. Then fourth, the impurities present in an ore, gangue or matrix. Impurities, earthly impurities such as silica, sand, rock, mud, etc. All those, calcium carbonate, all are impurities. Then fifth, the substance which removes the impurities from an ore, flux. So we saw example of flux was calcium carbonate. Yes, that reacts with silica and will form the slag. Okay, all this we have seen in the terms used in metallurgy. Then an alloy in which base metal is mercury. Just now we discussed it. Amalgam. Okay, again important. Then next, the carbonate ore of zinc, calamine. Then the main ore of iron used for extraction. So hematite, that is Fe2O3. Okay. So whenever in name the following you have all you are supposed to write in words. Yes. Now formula if you write you get 0 for it. Then next, the process of heating the concentrated ore in absence of air. is calcination. This was our third step, concentrated ore to oxide. Calcination and roasting were the two methods. Then 10th, the process of heating the concentrated ore in presence of excess air, roasting. Okay. For now you remember calcination is used for what kind of ores? Yes, very good. For the carbonate ores and ores containing water, and roasting for, yes, very good, sulfide ores. Okay, some question on this you can expect. Yes, calcination and roasting. Then next is the compound which on ignition at elevated temperatures gives pure alumina. So that is aluminum hydroxide. This was the third step in the Bayer's process, ignition of aluminum hydroxide at a temperature of 1100 degrees Celsius gave you pure alumina and water. Yes, so that was in the third step in the Bayer's process. Then next is the process used to concentrate bauxite, Bayer's process. Okay. Then next, process of ore dressing based on the difference in the densities. Do you remember this? Yes, very good. Hydrolytic method. And what was the other name for hydrolytic method? Gravity separation. Yes, where we use that vibrating groove slope table. There was a shower of water and the ore was added. So the denser ore particles settled in the grooves, while the lighter gangue particles were carried by water. Yes, if you are not able to recollect, kindly go through the notes again. Then next, a black metallic oxide reduced to metal on heating with coke, copper oxide. Now this you should remember that copper oxide is black in color, so it is reduced by coke. Now same can be reframed and asked the buff yellow. What is buff yellow? PbO. Yes, very good. So that is also reduced by the coke. So if it is buff yellow, it will be litharge or lead 2 oxide, and if it is black, it is copper oxides. So these common colors of the certain oxides you should be aware of. Then next, a metallic ore converted to its oxide, that is iron 2 oxide, on heating the concentrated ore. So that is spathic iron ore or ferrous carbonate. Ferrous carbonate is FeCO3. Now it is also called as siderite. Okay, so any one name you can write. Now we'll have a look at the next part. Next is 16th one. The common name of the ore of iron from whose chemical formula is Fe3O4 is, that is magnetite. Is, you remember magnetite? I had said it is a combination of iron 2 oxide and iron 3 oxide. Iron 2 oxide was FeO, iron 3 oxide is Fe2O3. So when you combine the two, you get Fe3O4. Okay. Next is process used to reduce fused alumina, Hall-Hérold's process. Again very important is Hall-Hérold's process for electrolytic reduction of fused alumina. In that we discuss all that composition of the electrolyte, if you remember, fused alumina, cryolite, fluorspar, temperature being reduced from 2050 to 950. Yes, all those aspects. And I hope you have done the homework also. Those 6 statements I had given for justification. Then next 18th one, the substance in the molten state of subdivision that dissolves alumina, cryolite. Now here you should remember that both cryolite and fluorspar are acting as a solvent, but cryolite is being used in a larger proportion. It's almost 60%. So answer you will write as cryolite. Okay. Next, the component of the electrolyte in the electrolytic reduction of fused alumina which does not contain aluminium. So that is fluorspar. What is the formula of fluorspar? CaF2. Yes, very good. Okay, so that does not contain aluminium. The other two, which are the other two components? Cryolite is Na3Al(F6) and alumina, that is Al2O3. So both of them are containing aluminium. Fluorspar does not contain. Okay, so important. Now next, an alloy of copper and zinc is brass. Just today only we have discussed this. Then the component which lowers the melting point of solder, tin. Then next, the elements responsible for imparting luster to stainless steel. So chromium and nickel. Then an alloy containing copper, zinc and tin, bronze. Now these particular ones, that is alloy, copper and zinc, alloy containing copper, zinc and tin. This can be asked in choose the correct option also. Yes, so brass contains, then different options, copper, zinc and tin, copper and antimony, like that. So important, yes. So some question on alloys will be there in your compulsory section of the paper, that is section 1, 40 marks. Then next one, the process of coating of iron with zinc, that's called as galvanization. And last, the final product of the Bayer's process, that is called as alumina. Okay, so these are 25, name the following, yes, and all are very important. You should go through them thoroughly. Now we'll have a look at few more questions. Next part. Okay, next question is select the correct answer from the options given below. Now these type of questions also you have to be familiar with. First, the oxide of the metal which reacts with both acid and alkali to give salt and water. What is such type of oxide called? Yes, very good, amphoteric oxide. So options are MgO, CuO, K2O and Al2O3. So naturally your answer is D, aluminum oxide, Al2O3. Next, which of the following cannot be reduced by reducing agents? C, CO and H2. Now do you remember which are those which cannot be reduced by reducing agents? The first 5, yes, potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium and aluminum. So the correct option will be C, calcium oxide, because CuO, PbO and ZnO you can reduce by these reducing agents. Okay, this we discuss in the step 4, that is reduction of the oxide. In that 3 methods we have seen. First was electrolysis, second was using reducing agents and third was thermal decomposition. Okay, so on that part such type of questions you can expect. Third, the metallic oxide reduced to metal generally by thermal decomposition. So the last 2, that is Hg, mercury and silver, Ag. Gold and platinum are noble, so you can't touch them. Okay, so whether it's ZnO, MgO, Al2O3 or HgO, so answer is naturally D, HgO. Okay, clear? This you can reduce ZnO by reducing agent, and MgO and Al2O3 what will you use? Electrolysis. Yes, very good. Then fourth, the substance used to react with bauxite in the Bayer's process. So what is the correct answer will be sodium hydroxide. Yes, options are sodium hydroxide, sodium carbonate, sodium aluminate and sodium sulfate. So we are using sodium hydroxide. I hope you remember the function of sodium hydroxide. What was the function of sodium hydroxide? Yes, because aluminum oxide, that is the bauxite is amphoteric in nature, it will react with sodium hydroxide and it will form soluble salt sodium aluminate. Yes, impurities, that is ferric oxide and silica SiO2, they are not amphoteric, so they will not react with NaOH and remain insoluble. So you can remove them by filtration. Yes, that is the answer to this, sodium hydroxide. And last, the metal which exists as a liquid at room temperature, this you have done in lower classes, so sometimes they ask you. Yes, this directly we haven't done in today's chapter, but you should be aware of this. Answer is mercury. Now for the same question, if they ask non-metal which exists as a liquid at room temperature, what will be your answer? Yes, very good, bromine. Okay, so remember it. So with that we complete this. Now one last part is, that is we'll have a look at the next part, that is the homework, and then we shall conclude this session. Okay, now note down the homework please. Question 9 is name the process used to reduce alumina. So what will be your answer for this? Hall-Héroult's process for electrolytic reduction of fused alumina. Answers you will get in the slides itself, but you have to rewrite it. Yes, give the composition of the electrolyte used. So write the composition of the electrolyte and the function played by each of the ingredient. Okay, so or the role played by each ingredient. And this next question is name the process used to reduce alumina. It will be the same. Then what forms the cathode and anode? Yes, so cathode the inner gas carbon lining, anode the graphite rods, and give the reaction taking place at cathode and anode. Okay, so these 2 are your homework questions. So now with that we have completed the chapter of metallurgy. So we have completed this chapter of metallurgy. Now board questions are already solved with the PDF which has been uploaded. So I want you to go through the board questions. If you have any doubt, you have to get back on WhatsApp. Okay, so we've completed metallurgy. Next we will start a new chapter in chemistry. Till then, happy studying. Stay safe and healthy in the house. Okay, thank you.